spent some time talking to people who've been foreclosed upon, and I just want to say this. I feel no sympathy for deadbeats. I feel no sympathy for people who just think they can spend and spend and spend, and that there's no risk involved, whether it be buying real estate, something most people know nothing about, whether it be taking out more and more credit cards and racking up the charges, whether it be borrowing money and not understanding how interest compounds over time. Not paying your bills is simply immoral. It goes beyond illegal or whatever, because there's no debtor's prison. Sometimes you wonder why, but that's for the tradition of this country. You don't ever go to prison for not paying your debts. I guess unless it's child support, and then they nail you for that. But not paying Visa or MasterCard, you know, they'll hound you and they'll make your life difficult and they'll make credit expensive. But you don't go to prison for it. And I think the result of that is that people think, oh, these are just big companies and they can afford it. And, you know, there are a lot of people out there with a chip on their shoulder thinking that other people are luckier than they are and they deserve a taste of the good life, too. And I see a lot of these people, you know, using their Visa cards and Discover cards to buy Starbucks coffee in the morning, and you know they can't afford it. You see the people out there who are buying, you know, like little sports cars, or people leasing BMWs around L.A. They lease like the lowest-end BMW they can find because they want to appear to have more than they do. And I've said on this program before that, you know, I mean, one thing I was getting into a relationship, but one thing I will tell you for sure, somebody with a low credit score, someone who has a lot of debt, never, ever would they get the key to my home. Never. Never. It is a personal human flaw to be borrowing money and not paying it back. To be borrowing money and not thinking about how you're going to pay it back, or knowing for sure when you're going to pay it back. It's wrong. Now, if somebody does you a favor, or somebody in the family gives you a gift, or a friend helps tide you over, that's one thing. But when you walk into a bank, a mortgage company, a finance company, whatever, and you're borrowing money, you are making a commitment. All that paper that you sign that you don't read spells out the specifics of the commitment you are making. You have the option, if you don't understand what you are supposed to be reading, to not sign the paperwork, to not go ahead with the deal. But how many people do that? Blaming banks and finance companies, blaming mortgage companies for your problems is a cop-out. People don't want to take responsibility for the mistakes they make. They don't want to take responsibilities for the things that they ought to be doing. And many of these morons think that the government, which means the rest of us, should help them out. This idea that all of the greedy bastards who went out there to try to buy houses thinking they were going to make a quick profit and then got nailed, this idea that the taxpayers, many of whom have better credit than the people who bought these houses, many of whom could not afford to buy a house because all these morons went out and bought houses at one time, now, to add insult to injury, on top of all of that, on top of them making it impossible for the rest of us to buy a house, now there are people out there who think we ought to help them. Absolutely not. These people need to learn a lesson. They need to be thrown out of their houses. They need to be excised from their credit cards. They need to be forced into bankruptcy. That's what they need, because that's the only lesson they're going to understand. This idea that you can do any wild thing you want, take any wild financial risk you want, and that we're going to bail you out if you were a moron or a dumbass, I don't buy it. All this stuff, oh, predatory lenders, blah-bitty, blah-bitty blue. You know what? If you signed a piece of paper and you didn't know what it meant, you're an idiot and you deserve to pay. It's that simple.
I'm just so excited.
And that goes for any other financial transactions you make, you idiot. If you go out there and you charge up your credit card, I didn't know it was 18%. I had no idea that the balance would go up so fast. You idiot. You got a credit card and the finance charge is 18% per year and it's compounded daily? That's going to go through the roof, you moron. If you didn't understand that, you shouldn't have made the deal. Period. End of story. You shouldn't have signed the papers. I feel no sympathy for you. And before you tell me I'm just some rich guy and I don't understand, let me explain who I really am. Okay? I'm a rich guy today who grew up in a super poor household. Dirt poor. And my parents, specifically my father, was exactly the kind of person I'm describing to you. Do you know when MasterCard, I was a kid when MasterCard first came out. It was called MasterCharge. And you may not know this, but when MasterCharge cards first came out, they sent one to just about every man and woman in America. Literally, it's against the law to do this now. Now you get all those stupid applications that are pre-approved. They replaced the actual cards themselves. MasterCard sent cards to everybody in America. Everybody. And I will never forget, I was 12 years old when my dad got his MasterCharge card. And it was called MasterCharge back then. And my dad took the card out, the new shiny plastic card with the red and orange circles on it. He took it out and tapped it against his left hand, and he said, let's break this baby in. That night we went to the mall, we bought clothes, we went to the Chinese restaurant and charged up a storm. We all had dessert, we all had Moo Goo Gai Pan. It was all put on the card. Oh, my dad was signing up a storm. And I remember telling him that if you keep doing this, I looked at the bill, I looked at the finance charges. I was 12. I looked at the bill. I said, you know, if you keep doing this, you're going to go broke. My father, 43 years of employment. What did he have left after the sale of his house, which had gone up in value by a factor of 10? The total amount of his life's work added up to $80,000. That was after selling the house. So in other words, when they sold the house, some of the proceeds from selling the house had to go to paying off a second mortgage, a third mortgage, all the outstanding credit cards, and all that was left was $80,000. 43 years, a life's work, reduced to $80,000. That included every IRA, every 401k, every savings account, the insurance, everything. $80,000. May sound like a lot to you. That's nothing after 43 years of working. Nothing. Nothing. And after growing up and watching that, I have no sympathy for people who do that kind of thing. None. I have 2 debts in the whole world, and they are the mortgages on my 2 homes. That's it. And I can afford to pay both of them off. I was advised by my accountant to not pay them off, to instead keep the money in the stock market, or I would pay them off too. I don't have a car loan. I don't have a balance on my Visa card. I don't have a balance on my American Express card. I don't have a balance on my Discover card. Every month I pay them off. If I can't afford to pay them off, I don't make the purchases. Even now, I don't do it. Why is that so hard for people to understand? Spend the money you have. Face the fact, okay? If you feel like other people are doing better than you are, if you feel like other people own better cars or they own houses and you don't, or they live in better houses than you do, if you feel that people have better clothes than you do or nicer things than you have, the answer to that is to get an education and get a better job. The answer to that is not to be a goddamn deadbeat. Are you with me?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
My husband listens to your radio station. Every time he comes home after listening to your radio station, he's like in a bad mood all the time.
He must enjoy it. He listens all the time.
Oh, no, I don't know what it is. You're just brainwashing him somehow, and I don't know that.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. Deadbeats just pissed me off. Matt is listening to us on the online stream from Scottsdale, Arizona. On the Tom Leykis Show, hello.
Hey, Tom, how are you doing?
Doing okay.
Great. I just had a quick question for you. As far as the Fed bailing out the banks, how do you feel about that?
I'm opposed.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure because it's the same thing. I mean, it's their bad investment, and that's the reason they're going under, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, first of all, the Fed has not bailed out the banks.
Well, there's more talks of that happening.
Well, but it hasn't happened.
Okay.
What happened with Bear Stearns was an infusion of capital, but it was not a bailout, and it was not money being given.
That was a loan then? They're expected to pay that back?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes. Bear Stearns was not given the money for a bailout. And ultimately, the new owner of that conglomerate
Invested with all this foreign money.
What about it?
To bail it out. How do you feel about that?
I don't have a problem with that. We have a global economy.
Yeah, but don't you want to look out for our own companies more than selling out, I guess?
What do you mean selling out?
Well, if we have, people from China or the Middle East owning majorities in our companies, that's not...
we went through this same argument back in the 80s with Japan.
Uh-huh.
And the fact is that all of that went away when Japan's economy went in the tank. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news this week. But China's stock market has been cratering.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately, at some point, China, the bubble in China is going to burst. And then China's going to have to sell a lot of that stuff off at fire sale prices.
Okay.
It's like the real estate market. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You can't worry about that stuff. Back in the 80s and the 70s, people were worried about petrodollars and Arabs coming in and buying stuff. And I mean, come on. At one time, Rockefeller Center in New York was owned by a Japanese company.
Oh, okay.
But it isn't anymore.
So it's just a matter of which economy.
It's the ebb and flow. It's the ebb and flow of capital from one country to another. And let me tell you something. If we didn't have China out there buying up our treasury notes, we'd be in a lot worse shape now than we are.
That's true. I get that. Good point. Good point. All right. Well, hey, thanks, Tom. Take care. And could you blow me up?
I certainly can. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Mark calling from Portland, Oregon, home of the other white meat on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Two of the most important topics that you daily talk about. This is one of them. Condoms and cash. This is it. These guys need to understand that nobody's going to take them out. The legislatures, the senators, the Congress, everybody is... They're just weenies. They won't accept the fact that they're bargaining for votes, for re-election. I'm in 100% agreement with you.
I don't think we should be bailing out anybody. Everybody who took that risk should pay for it.
Absolutely. And the two biggest enemies in public are corporations wanting you to just keep spending, and the government for, they've got a stimulus package, which is just more taxes, more spending, more debt. There are no...
it is the job of corporations. It is the job of corporations to extract as much capital from individuals and companies as they can. That's their job.
Right.
Okay? It's incumbent upon the individual, and yes, it's incumbent upon the government to show restraint. But it's the job of a company. What company's got to come up and say, you know what, we're going to limit our sales of Coca-Cola this year because we think people have spent enough?
Absolutely.
That's not going to happen. It would not be in the interest of the shareholders. They're not going to do it.
Right. And the government is living off the taxes the corporations generate because they are then juicing it with this stimulus package. Somebody getting a $1,200 check, going out and buying a $2,400 TV, more debt, more stimulus. It's the wrong direction.
Well, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But what are you going to do? Diana on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
The ratings and, well, my paycheck is pretty far up there.
Oh, man, I want to be like you one day.
Of course.
Anyways, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you feel, or what do you think? Okay, because I know you keep up with pretty much everything that goes on, and I have heard that they're going to start making it a lot harder to borrow because of what's happening now. So me being a college student, I mean, in what ways is it going to be harder for us to borrow when we are ready to buy a house? Well,
I will tell you, I just bought a house, and I am not like the people I'm talking about here. I'm the opposite. A FICO score is that credit score between 350 and 850.
Right.
That measures, your creditworthiness. My FICO score is over 800. And I have a 7-figure annual income.
Uh-huh.
And when I wanted to buy a house, I also had the 20% down payment, so there's no PMI or anything like that. Guess what? They said 20% wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough?
They wanted 25%.
Wow.
And I am a top-of-the-line customer, and I had to put 25% down to buy my house.
See, so for people like me, because I can tell you firsthand, it's really frustrating when I come from a family who it doesn't make enough, for us to be. We make enough to get by, but not enough for financial aid. So I have to work. I worked hard so I can pay myself through school. I refuse to get any credit cards, anything like that that's going to, get me in debt. Because I want to buy a house one day, and when I graduate college, I don't want to be far up my butt in debt. So I think it's really frustrating when I see people, like some college students of mine, get financial aid checks and just blow it. People aren't responsible with their money. So I'm just wondering if we're not doomed, but if it's going to be a lot harder for us. What do we need to do? I'm trying to go to school. I want to become a nurse. I'm studying to become a nurse. I want to eventually get my own place. So what can we do,
Well, you pay your bills on time. You don't run up credit card debts. If your credit card debt is high enough that you've triggered an interest payment,
yeah, stop
borrowing.
Yeah.
Your credit cards should be paid off in full every month.
Yeah, because, I don't necessarily disagree, because credit, that's going to get us where we want to be, right? That's what we need, a really good credit score.
That's right.
As long as we can pay it off.
But that's the thing. The problem with most people is that they borrow more than they can pay back. Then they end up paying 18% annual interest on that.
Yeah, that's effed up.
Well, what's really effed up is that many women especially don't understand numbers or money. And they go to the mall with their credit card and they go, oh, it was 20% off, honey, look at this. And then they put the purchase on an 18% annual interest rate credit card.
Yeah.
And 18%, that's not 18% actually, because they has what's called APR, as you hear in the car commercials. Annual percentage rate. Many banks compound the interest daily or even hourly.
Right. Hourly? I didn't know.
Sometimes it's even hourly. If you read all that paperwork that you don't read when you get a credit card, some of them have amazing ways of compounding interest. 18% can be 25% or 30%.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of insane. But by the way, it's not mostly women, quote unquote, mostly women. It's men too, okay?
Darling, let me tell you something.
They're electronics,
I'm not saying there aren't men with credit problems and borrowing problems. There certainly are. But the thing is, women waste. First of all, women spend over 70% of all the money spent. That is why so many TV shows are aimed at women, because so much advertising is aimed at women.
That's true, yeah. I can't disagree with that.
So the majority of people doing this are women.
Yeah. but I don't know. I don't know. It's not. I can't really take. Not all women. That's all I can say.
When did I say all women? You brought the word all into it.
Well, when I hear most,
most does not mean all. 51% is most. 100% is all. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I guess. All right, Tom. Well, I just wanted to know. I don't want to get into it.
Well, if you didn't want to get into it, why did you call?
No, I wanted your advice because you're a great mind.
Oh.
I have to give it to you. You know, you have really good advice.
If you have to pay interest on your credit card to buy something, you paid too much. It's something you can't afford.
Yeah.
That's the rule of thumb. If you ever see a finance charge triggered, you've gone over the line.
All right, Tom.
And believe me, if you follow that rule, you'll end up a lot better off than you will if you don't.
Yeah.
Don't rent money.
All right,
You're
Tom,
laughing.
thanks.
Don't rent money.
Yeah, I won't rent money.
Well, that's when you borrow money and you pay a finance charge, you essentially have rented it.
I mean, you're like, I went shopping with my mom. It's kind of like, and she used her card earlier, so it's kind of like, Mom, you're paying, it's on sale, Ma, but you're actually going to end up paying more for it later on. It just doesn't make sense sometimes because of the interest, you know? Like, it might be 15% off or whatever, but the interest eventually you're going to end up paying more than really what the full value is.
That's right.
So it just doesn't make sense sometimes. But thanks, Tom. I appreciate your advice.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello to Jared on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I was flipping through a personal finance book at the store the other day, and it mentioned 6 things, and I'm guessing the average person, maybe the exclusively rich could avoid this, but the average person should never buy. And going down the list like so, number 1 would be boats, 2, RVs, 3, vacation homes, number 4 would be timeshares, number 5 would be sports cars, and number 6 would be swimming pools. What do you think about that list, Tom?
That's a good list. There are people who can afford that stuff, though.
Oh, yes, there are many people who can, and many who should probably avoid that.
Well, I would say the average person needs to avoid that. I'll tell you what, I would not buy a timeshare in a billion years. Ever. Ever. Yeah. I don't want 1/52nd of a motel. I want to own real estate that's mine. And if I can't afford real estate that's mine, I'm going to save my money until I can afford something that has land under it and
or
value.
Or spend the night in a 5-star hotel.
Right. I mean, this idea that by buying a timeshare you somehow own real estate is laughable.
Yeah, I can agree there, and who wants that? And anything with a cheesy commercial is something I usually don't want to get into.
Well, there you go. Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Manuel on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going off saying that we shouldn't bail out individuals for mortgages or anything like that. But what's your position on corporate bailouts of companies?
I'm not in favor of corporate bailouts either.
Thank you.
That includes airlines. That includes other corporations. I'm not in favor of that. I'm not in favor of buying stadiums for baseball, football, basketball, soccer, or hockey teams.
That's good to hear. Because I know, because I'm in the same position. If we can bail out individuals, then we shouldn't bail out corporate America.
But which corporations are we bailing out? Name them.
Bear Stearns.
We did not bail out Bear Stearns. That's not a bailout. You know who we did bail out in the 80s? We bailed out Chrysler Corporation. We bailed them out. We gave them money to stay in business.
And the airlines back in 01.
We did, and I think that was a stupid idea, frankly.
Yeah, it should be like Darwinism. If they can't hold up, they can't survive.
Well, I agree with that, because all the conservatives love talking about, it's a great country, laissez-faire government, you take your risks, there can be great rewards, But the fact is, the minute big corporations are failing, yes, there are some of them who say, yes, we should bail them out. But I will say that there are all these bailouts you're referring to, there really aren't that many of them, and frankly, I'm opposed to all of them.
Well, and there might not be as many as personal bailouts, but still my tax money going to people that I don't agree with being bailed out. So that's my point. Well,
I don't put it this way. I think people who take stupid risks should not be bailed out, whether they are companies or individuals.
That's good to hear, Tom. I'm glad to hear that.
Right, but the idea that, by the way, this idea of portraying people being kicked out of their houses as victims is so lame. Because during the years from 2001 to 2006, all I heard was a bunch of morons who knew nothing about real estate going, yeah, you know, I thought I'd buy a couple of houses and paint them and flip them. And I am glad to hear these greedy bastards living under freeway overpasses now. I think it's fantastic.
I remember the commercials on cable, daytime TV. I remember them all.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Instead of portraying these people as victims, we should be going, hallelujah, finally somebody with good credit can afford to buy a house now.
Yeah, right. No, I agree.
The thing is, if we kick these bastards out of the houses they never should have bought in the first place, prices will drop, and those people who've been shut out of buying houses will be able to afford them.
Exactly. Everybody should just go back to renting, like back in the old days.
Yes, let the deadbeats rent. That's the way it should be.
Exactly. All right, Tom. And, Tom, one more question. Any possibility we ever go back to the gold standard?
I doubt that.
So it's still just fiat then?
I doubt that, because devaluing the dollar is a way that the government helps the import-export business, essentially. That has become the way it is the last 35 years.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I wanted to know what your idea of a perfect woman was.
That would be a woman who turns into a six-pack and a sandwich after I have her.
That's all?
That
would no idea of a perfect woman at all?
That would be perfect to me. I haven't met one yet, but that would be perfect.
Okay.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. At 1-800-5800-TOM. That is our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We're talking about those deadbeats. You know the ones we're talking about. The ones who borrow too much, the ones who buy houses they can't afford without understanding how loans work and adjustable rate mortgages and stuff, and after that they want to be bailed out by the rest of us. Deadbeats, deadbeats, deadbeats. 1-800-5800-TOM, that is our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Karen on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, baby, how are you?
Doing okay, dear. How about you?
Good, good. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Anyway, the reason I'm calling is I was looking at the front page of the business section of the L.A. Times today, and I just want to add to what you were saying, that they're basically saying that the mortgage lenders are obviously trying to fight having to help bail out these people, and if they have to, if they're going to be forced to bail them out, they're just going to charge higher points and rates to future home buyers, and I just don't think that's right.
No, of course it's not right.
Yeah, and I can't agree with you more. I am so sick and tired of all these losers, glorified gamblers. It makes me sick. I'm like you. You know, I've been on my own since 17. I hadn't yet finished my college degree. I worked my way up. I saved. I did whatever I could. And most of my life I made under $50,000 working as a secretary. I've gone up much higher since then, but I was able to buy my own home in Beverly Hills in the mid-'90s and on my own. It did exactly what you did. And if people would just not spend more than they make, they would be able to do, get by just fine.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. And I also want to say my heart is pounding so hard right now because your voice just makes me hot.
Oh, look at that.
I have a huge crush on you.
Oh, boy.
You're sexy and hot. Oh, my God, I'm in my car. I can't.
You're out of control.
I know. Well, you make me out of control. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. So anyway, I'm pretty hot. I'm close to your age, a little younger than you, but I just would love to meet you sometime.
Is that so? Well, listen to that. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, David.
Hi, I was here to talk about your advice on not getting into debt, not using credit cards and such, but what's your advice on after that has already happened and you're in debt and just over your head in credit cards? What's the best way to get out of that?
We'll get to that in a second. Why did you do that?
It was a mistake, man.
No, it's not a mistake.
The first one was a DUI, had to pay that off, had to use the credit cards for that.
Why'd you get a DUI? Why'd you do that?
Well, the past, it's just mistakes, that's what I'm saying.
I see.
Not being a very smart kid,
Uh-huh. All right, so how much did that cost you?
That ran me about $10,000.
$10,000.
20.
Mm-hmm. You're 24 and you still owe that money?
Yeah, well, I just started to get right back on track, and there wasn't a DUI, but I crashed my truck, and that cost me about another $15,000.
Why are you driving a truck?
Well, it was just a little Ranger. It wasn't some big expensive
I don't care what it is. You can't afford it.
It was $7,000. I know. Actually, even while I had it, I was telling people, I shouldn't be driving
You
it.
can't afford the gas for it.
I learned that lesson right now. I'm driving a piece of junk, just trying to get back out of it. But I have about 5 credit cards I'm trying to pay off.
By the way, son, what college did you add after?
No, yeah.
Why didn't you go to like a full university, get a full education? Because you were busy drinking and partying and driving your truck around?
Pretty much, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, pretty much, to be honest with you.
Right. So you just pretty much said, you know what, you said, my life is effed. I'm never going to accomplish anything. I'm never going to do anything.
Well, no, I mean...
You decided that you were you decided yourself...
It was, but...
You decided yourself that you were a complete loser, and so you lived your life like nothing was ever going to get any better, right?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm trying to get out of that. My attitude has changed. That's what I was. I'm not going to lie about that at all.
Yeah. Well, it's what you still are because you haven't proven you're anything but.
Well, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I got a job and, trying to move up in that and trying to do my thing,
And what do you do for a living?
Electrician.
You are a licensed electrician?
That's what I'm working on.
So you're not a licensed. You're an apprentice?
Yes, correct.
Right. How much does that pay?
Right now, $12 an hour.
Ooh-wee. Still my beating heart.
Tell me about it.
Do you work a 40-hour week?
I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're making $480 a week?
About there, yeah.
So that would put you about $25,000 a year?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, son, you need to make more money because you're never going to pay off $12,000. Because let's face facts, that $12,000 is what, on a Visa card or something?
MasterCard, Visa, American Express, you name it.
What's your interest rate on them?
For a year.
For a year.
I got a loan that's at 15, which I'm trying to find something to transfer that to.
15?
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm trying to find something to transfer that to right now. And another one at 10.9.
None of these are good interest rates.
I know.
And the zero will end.
Yeah.
And by the way, every time you do a balance transfer, it hurts your credit.
Oh, really?
Of course it does. You think the banks are stupid? You think they don't know what kind of deadbeats go for those balance transfers?
I didn't know that, Tom.
Of course
That's what I'm calling, man. That's what I'm calling.
Yeah, but the thing is, you call me after you've done everything already.
I know. I don't know what to do with myself, Tom, right now. This hasn't been my field,
Well, son, being responsible is part of growing up.
Yeah. And my lesson came a little late, but it has come, and now I'm just trying to figure out what to do about it.
Yeah, well, guess what? You don't work enough hours.
I know. Actually, that's a private company I work for right now. I'm trying to go union because they pay better. To be a better life,
It's not just that. You need to work more hours. Maybe you need a second job.
I've actually been trying to work on the side jobs, too, but need a little more experience.
Stop trying to work on things and start doing it.
Oh, no.
If you have to work at Ralph's going boop, 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 and run the groceries over the scanner, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
By the way, that pays $20 now. It pays a lot more than you make.
Mm-hmm. I've tried that. I should. I mean, I can't.
Son, you can't be picky. You can't be picky.
Yeah, good point.
You are at the bottom of the barrel. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
You're not in a position to be saying, I don't like this job and I don't like that job. You're not.
That's correct.
Well, if you know that, then why aren't you doing something about it?
I have to. I do.
Put oil in my car. Shine my goddamn shoes. That's where you're at. That's the level you're at.
I'll shine your shoes, Tom. Where do you live?
May is brush clear. By the way, May is brush clearance month. Maybe it's time to get out there and working 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
You watch your mouth. We're on the air.
I'm sorry, Tom. I know. I'm sorry. But actually, if I could ask a specific question, I hear people say, sometimes it's good to pay the minimum on a few credit cards, but pay a lot on the highest interest. Or, other people tell me it's best just to pay, maybe $100 on each of them.
No.
What's your
It's best to pay the highest amount you can pay to the highest interest credit card and pay the minimum on the others until you pay the first one off.
Okay, so that is a good way to go?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of what I was looking for. And you're saying that balance transfers hurt your credit. What about consolidation loans? Are those kind of bad ideas?
They can do the same thing. Again, that doesn't mean you can't do them. It just means, you're further hurting your credit by doing these things because you're announcing to the world you're a deadbeat.
Yeah, okay. So no consolidation loans. That's not...
Look, if that's the difference between surviving and not surviving, get a consolidation loan.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not hurting to survive. I'm just hurting to get out of debt, really. So that's not a way to go.
If you make $25,000 a year and you've got $12,000 in unsecured debt, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You just haven't acknowledged that you're in trouble. By the way, I'll bet you...
Just say it.
Well, focus on getting another job.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go.
Minimum 20 hours a week.
All right, yeah. That's what I have to do.
You have to do it.
Yep, I do.
Or you're going to be in debt until you're in bankruptcy. That's where it's going. Our email address, tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.